Today, I try to match the weirdness of something I don't entirely understand yet, and do what I do, try to make it into a video game. Because ladies and gentlemen, this is Dev Diary, a series where I try to make my own video games. So if game dev videos are your thing, consider subscribing to the channel and turning on notifications so you don't miss future videos. So I just started watching Severance, a great show so far, but also really weird and mysterious. In the show, there's this program where they wrangle seemingly random numbers together and dump them into a box. Again, really weird, really mysterious, and yet despite not knowing much about what it actually does or how it works, it did inspire a video game idea. So the player controls this dog slug thing. I don't know, I'm just trying to match the show's weirdness aura here. It's a typical top-down experience, so the player controls its movements with WASD. Holding left click will allow the player to begin wrangling similarly to the show, and this is represented by the polygonal shape that grows as the player moves around. When the player releases left click, the shape becomes an in-game object, which also just punches a hole right through the world itself. And let's take a quick moment to mourn what this effect will likely do to the bitrate for this poor video. Anyway, this world is inhabited by these weird sheep-like creatures. Would have gone with goats, but they ended up looking a little too similar to the dog slug. Using sheep also allowed them to be more obviously color-coded to match the show, which are chosen at random as each sheep is created. When left alone, these sheep will just randomly walk around the world minding their own business. However, should they come in contact with the hole that the player creates, they will be sucked into the literal middle of it. This calculation is based on a basic rectangle that is mathed out when the player is still creating it. So it's not exact, but it works well enough. Especially since, I'm pretty terrible at math. What's not so terrible, however, is that if you enjoy the content, supporting me on Patreon is the best way to help me keep making it. Doing so can get you access to exclusive content and downloads and even early access to the weekly Dev Diary videos before they're released on YouTube. So any sheep sucked into the hole will remain there until the player takes action. They can either delete the hole, which will simply remove it and release the sheep from their paralysis. The player can also instead press enter and, wrangle the sheep, essentially collecting the numbers the same way that they're done in the show. Each sheep is worth a random amount of points, and those points are collected when they are wrangled. The goal of the game is to max out each meter at the bottom of the screen, and those amounts are determined when the game begins and are always random. Now, I know it's a pretty basic concept. This version honestly feels much more like a toy than a game. Like the dark sheep would originally remove points from the meters, but it was just so tedious that it was removed. Upgrades could maybe have been great, finger traps or something. I don't know. What do you think? Both about the game and what would be great additions to build on. As always, I would love to hear from y'all, so be sure to share your thoughts and ideas in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like. But that'll do it for today's episode of Dev Diary, so thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.